listening to the best music. You're now listening to the best music.
Kids are carrying over there with a new track. How are we doing? How are you feeling? Welcome to the best radio station, the Blackwood 5 Radio Network. My name is Iwaton Longoria. Let's pop with Iwaton, another conversation that we started on Monday, continuing with it and how genocide benefits governments and companies. We'll definitely delve into that conversation with the one and only in the building. But thank you for the ones who are joining us right away here on Rumble, BitChute, YouTube. My name is Iwaton Longoria. You can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackwoodfireradionetwork.com for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Blackwood Fire Radio logo on it. It's October 29th. How's that been for you? How are you feeling about October? It's my birthday month, so I'm still celebrating until December.
Oh, happy birthday!
Libra's in the building. Thank you so much.
I didn't know it was
Not today. It was 10th October, but it's still my birthday.
Well, now that you're informed.
Yes, welcome family to a continuation of the conversation we started on Monday, and we'll delve deeper into how genocide benefits governments and companies, and also I'll tackle a little bit of how the instant Tanzanians crack down on activism and how people are actually saying new, and they're calling it the new era of repression. I'll also tackle a little bit of female genital mutilation and how that should definitely be ended, but right now you'll definitely be arrested if you practice female genital mutilation. We do have Layla Hussein, who's actually a survivor of female genital mutilation. We'll talk more about that right away, but you can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackwoodfireradionetwork.com for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Blackwood Fire Radio logo on it. My name is Iwaton Longoria, and I'm joined with the one and only Sankara Felipe.
Yeah.
To delve into this conversation, before I move forward, let's listen in to the health and benefit of some of the supplements which we have for you on our website.
Beetroot, nature's powerhouse. Packed with vitamins, antioxidants and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried and finely ground to preserve their rich nutritional content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Only $20.90 you'll get your beetroot. Remember, your health is a wealth, so I hope you're taking your vegetables and fruits because we've got a purpose to fulfill, so you gotta stay healthy and keep your immune system very strong. We'll delve into the conversation today, but before that, I'll just tackle a few of the conversations that I want to share regarding female genital mutilation and what's really happening in Tanzania. But before that, we do have the Pan African Daily TV, and they're actually commenting on the Cameroon's election, and this is what I got, or someone actually said this about what's really happening in Cameroon. This is what they said. All is well, that's the name. This time, clearly, they did not just rig the election in Cameroon, they seized power against the wish and mandate of the people. Cameroon is proving the proof of the world's disdain for Africa's peoples. Such silence in the face of such injustice makes no sense to me. Though it should have been expected, all these countries staying silent would not allow such on their soil. But is it okay for Cameroon's embattled people? I am distressed beyond words, not for the results, but for what this indicates about the way Cameroon's peoples have been cast aside by the rest of the world. I recognize this is a forum of just goodwill, so I'll lay to rest over here. Another person said, no way Paul Biya is winner. What really this old man wants from Africans, especially Cameroon. By saying the killings already started, a government with no peace, whoever agrees to this has no regard for the people of Cameroon. That is the long and short of it. Biya knows the complicit international body will call it controversial and sit quiet. The Burkinabe people had to chart their own course. The people of Cameroon do not only have a deadly regime sitting on them, but a selfish, heartless global community watching on. The people can't breathe. The people can't breathe. That's what's happening in regards to a few comments on what's happening in Cameroon. Our people are thinking about what's really going over there, and the fact that the one and only Biya, President Biya, won the election will definitely delve into this conversation about female genital mutilation. Just a short video, and the fact that we should continue saying no to this because it's not right. A lot of cultures in the 254, because we're here, are actually saying no to this, but a law was passed, and right now if you're practicing female genital mutilation, you're going to be arrested, which is a good thing. We've seen a lot of anti-FGM activists saying no to this, and they've actually won the heart of a lot of government people to actually arrest individuals in different cultural communities who are practicing the female genital mutilation. I'm gonna share a video of Leila Hussein. Hopefully we might have her here soon, working on that, of her story with female genital mutilation.
I don't have sex outside marriage, so I don't enjoy sex. Primarily my body is just there to carry babies. This is me as a survivor, as a therapist. FGM is not a cultural traditional practice. I was cut for my future husband, so I don't have sex outside marriage, so I don't enjoy sex. Primarily my body is just there to carry babies. This is me as a survivor, as a therapist. FGM is not a cultural traditional practice, but actually it's child abuse. That particular day was quite interesting, and it was only my neighbour's daughter that said to me, "Oh, you must be really looking forward to today." And I was like, okay. And I thought, well, it's not my birthday, what the hell's going on? And she said, "Oh, you're having your karibuni done." So karibuni is FGM in Somali. She must have been 8, 9 years old, so it's a child telling another child what's about to happen to them. She started to explain what it was, and I'm sitting there thinking, but Mummy told me no one should touch my body. So it was a conflicting messages that was going on in my head. But as she's explaining this, I could hear a scream coming down from the other side of the house, like screaming. It was my sister. It was like an out-of-body experience. Before I could even do or think anything, it was like, get Layla. Get Layla's turn. And I mean, I ran off. Obviously, I'm 7 years old. There's only so much running I can do. So they grabbed me, pinned me on this table, really held me down. These were aunties, family members, family, friends. Before I knew it, I was screaming and I could feel my flesh being cut off. But I just remember him saying, you're being naughty, you behave yourself, it doesn't hurt. And I blacked out from that moment. So, had FGM done, was home for 2 weeks recovering. The weekend after, we were back at the beach. Life was normal again. That's just the way it was. Once you undergo something like this, there's no way back. There's no way back from this. My mother wasn't just cut once, she was cut twice because a neighbour thought not enough flesh was taken away. And for me, when we talk about FGM, there's so much focus on the type and what happened. What we need to focus on is this idea that we can just go and examine children's genitals. What I experienced was actually one of the worst forms of abuse. The doctor that cut me would never be seen as a paedophile because he's checking my genitals under the label of a doctor, people giving me the reasons, they would say it's their religion, it's their culture. I mean, none of the holy books mention it. It's practiced amongst all religions, but none of the books mention it. However, fundamentally, FGM is there to control women and girls' bodies, especially their sexuality. I mean, every 11 seconds, a girl is being cut. So the fact that we're not outraged, it's absolutely crazy to me. The world hasn't tackled FGM because the majority affects black children. There will be an outrage if this was white girls. I mean, look what's happening in Hollywood. It's great that we're now naming and shaming sexual harassers and abusers. But black women have been doing that for a while, but no one listened. You know, we can't say every child matters and then pick and choose the ones that matter. I 100% wholeheartedly believe FGM will end, but the only way that's going to end, it's we need to end all forms of oppression against human beings. My name is Layla Hussein and I'm a global citizen.
That's what's happening in regards to female genital mutilation. And what is that, if you're asking yourself? The FGM, or female genital mutilation, is defined as a procedures that alter or injure female genital organs for non-medical reason, and is internationally recognized as human rights violation. It can cause significant physical and physiological harm. We do have health consequences after that a lot of survivors are dealing with right now. FGM can have immediate outcomes such as severe pain, bleeding, and infection. Fistula also, which you definitely know can be so hard to cure, as well as long-term effects like chronic pain, psychological issues, and problems during childbirth. We do have key characteristics of FGM: offers no health benefits and can lead to severe health issues and even death. It is most often performed on young girls on a lot of cultural communities, I believe, that believe in that. FGM is linked to cultural and social factors, not religious requirement. It is practiced in countries across Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and in migrant communities globally. So say no to FGM. And if you know anybody practicing this, because I believe there are people doing this secretly, definitely report them, because the law is against that. But delving into the main conversation right away about how
where the person who's undergone female genital mutilation will typically experience pain during sexual intercourse.
absolutely.
So it's a weird excuse saying that you're trying to prevent cheating or sleeping outside marriage by making sure you no longer enjoy sex, and if it has to get to that point,
Right.
don't get married then.
You cannot say that because it was not their fault, actually.
You cannot
Yeah.
if you can't trust your wife, you must
Oh,
cut
we're
off.
talking about the FGM.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, so if you can't trust your wife, you have to cut off organs in her body, so she can only have sex with you for kids.
But you can see it basically we can actually put it under the theme of controlling women.
Yes, it is.
There's some communities they have to control. It's controlling women, making them feel like they're less than. So that's what they do, which is actually so wrong, and they should be arrested. But we're gonna move into the conversation right away about what's happening in Tanzania
And I'm actually
right now.
there are very beautiful scenes in the
It's wow, it's shocking, shockingly a good thing. You know?
And we are happy for the Tanzanians. We hope that they will get their victory today, and we hope
I
that
know.
their march will end with them marching into State House and yanking that demoness off her seat in Tanzania State House. And finally, our brothers and sisters in Tanzania will help us and come and help us get rid of Kasongo here in Nairobi.
It's been too much because a lot of people have been questioning, like, hey, why are you not speaking out about what's really happening? You know, it's the same thing in Rwanda. You know, what's happening? We'll definitely delve into that conversation in a big family. But thank you for joining us. Happy Wednesday. We do have an amazing conversation for you. It's always a great time with me, Iwito Longoria, because I'm always sending you so much love and light, you know, because you are the change you need to see in the world. Sankara with me, delving into the main topic of the day about how governments and companies benefit from genocide. Let's delve deeper into that.
Yes, and the first thing from as we continue from Paul stated last time is more about getting context on how much devastation genocide and civil war brings to its people.
Absolutely.
Now we see why it's done, and if you look at the areas that experience genocide, mass killing, civil wars, these are places with particular economic interests. These are places that withhold products and items worth billions and trillions of dollars. And
Okay.
we can look at the war-torn areas like right now in Congo.
Yeah.
It's because of their $28 trillion mineral deposit. In the Darfur, Sudan, their oil deposit is quite humongous.
Okay.
And cobalt. And now in the age of lithium batteries, this lithium is largely 20% of the world's lithium comes from Congo. So
Right.
if I own Tesla and I wouldn't want to pay too much money for that lithium, I will make sure for real. Some people somewhere are gonna suffer. So what do I do? The little money that I get in the beginning, I fund the militia. I give them money
Right.
to buy guns, and they protect my products and my mines. So that is how I invest back into the business. I invest in the militia, in the guns, and then the militia in turn protects my mines.
Right.
They can help me get mines from other people. So you're able to buy the people who are going to do your dirty work, and then since you're not buying as minerals from the Congo, because the minerals will be sneaked out of Congo to a country in Uganda, you're going to buy them as Ugandan lithium, which is going to be cheaper and under less regulation. With war, you have no time to think who is exporting, who is importing. The first solution is people should stop killing each other. Yes. So that is basically the most basic thing that happened with the civil war.
Right.
I would want to fund you to cause chaos so that people to divert some people's attentions into some other things. That's what they largely do with the payment of the militia. So you see the areas with the war torn areas with the wars and all the civil wars are resources dense areas, and sometimes they use these forests to install puppets to
Yeah.
power. That's what they did to Lumumba. They funded Mobutu Sese Seko. It's open knowledge that the CIA was behind Lumumba's assassination and
Right.
Lumumba's overthrow. Yes. So for political interests and them installing their monkeys, they
Mhm.
ought to, cause chaos. They have to force their way into power. So how will they do that? If they can't rig an election, they will use force and use fighting to get there.
Right.
Yes.
I'll share a video of some of the companies actually that are sponsoring genocides, and I definitely know we do have an idea, obviously, of those companies, and definitely it will bring us back to the main conversation that we're talking about, and what Sankara has actually mentioned right now in regards to how a lot of minerals are always like rigged out during these wars. But keep it tuned here with us on Let's Walk with You Return. Oh no. Okay.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Here is Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio.
The United Nations has dropped a bombshell report naming over 60 companies funding and profiteering from Israel's occupation in Gaza. In the report named From Economy of Occupation to Economy of Genocide, UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese has written, Israel's settler colonial occupation has transformed into an insidious bureaucratic and militarized regime of destruction, a calculated economy of genocide. The U.S. mission to UN has denounced the report, calling it false and offensive. U.S. says that these letters constitute an unacceptable campaign of political and economic warfare against the American and worldwide economy. The U.S. has also called on UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to condemn Albanese's actions and seek her removal. In her latest report, Albanese has mapped the corporations aiding Israel in the displacement of Palestinians and its genocidal war on Gaza and in the breach of international law. The report names more than 60 companies, including 48 corporate actors. Some of the big names are Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, IBM, and Palantir, each of which provide tech support to Israel. The report also names arms giants Lockheed Martin, RTX Corporation, General Dynamics, BAE Systems, Boeing, Italy's Leonardo SPA, and Japan's Fanuc Corporation. The report also mentions world's two largest asset managers, BlackRock and Vanguard, as the main investors of several listed companies. Major banks including Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, BNP Paribas, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase, and Barclays have been named for investing in Israeli bonds allowing Israel to wage war. Albanese's report also lists out civilian tech companies serving as dual-use tools for Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory. These include Caterpillar, Rada Electronic Industries, South Korea's HD Hyundai, Sweden's Volvo Group. Rental platforms like Booking and Airbnb have been mentioned in the report for listing properties and hotel rooms in occupied territory. Several other companies providing coal, electricity, irrigation tech, and banking facilities have also been named. Albanese basically says that corporate entities are under an obligation to avoid violating human rights through direct action or business partnerships, and that states have the primary responsibility to ensure corporate entities respect human rights, prevent, investigate, and punish abuses by private sectors. In conclusion, the report calls on the companies to divest from all activities linked to Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory. However, this is not the first time that Albanese has ruffled feathers. Earlier, both Biden and Trump administrations harshly criticized Albanese for repeatedly comparing Israelis to Nazis and for saying that Jewish lobby controls the U.S. Now once again, the U.S. has asked for the removal of Francesca Albanese from the role of Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in the Palestinian territories occupied since 1967. The Trump administration has also threatened significant actions in response to Albanese's misconduct. For more news and updates, Keep watching LiveMint.
Let's actually come back to Africa and the wars, like the wars that are happening in Sudan and the Congo. Mostly Sudan do have the UAE actually benefiting a lot from these wars in terms of oil, in terms of gold, and also we can come back to the Congo,
Yes.
the most richest, wealthiest country of all time,
Yes.
and why it's still impoverished, and why the wars are still ongoing, and how a lot of companies are actually benefiting from this war. I've mentioned the UAE, definitely
Yes.
supporting what's really happening in Sudan because there's a lot of oil going on
Yes.
happening in the Sudan, and also gold.
Yes.
Right now we do have Dubai that has been mentioned to be the most
Biggest gold market.
in the world.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Whilst we do have Sudan actually transpiring or basically exporting
Yes.
gold, and we do have a lot of people in the government collaborating with the people of the UAE. What's your take on that?
Yes. Here I can see there's an individual by the name Issa Abululu,
Alrighty.
who is an RSF field marshal, and he is the alleged butcher of Al-Bashir.
Mm-hmm.
He has overseen and personally participated in multiple massacres in Al-Bashir, North Darfur, Sudan. And such people are enabled by corporates that keep on paying militia to cause chaos and cause
Absolutely.
havoc.
Right.
So if I can get an evasion of not paying and saving billions of dollars, I would rather pay militia who are going to make me save all the money.
Right.
Because if I was to buy these minerals legally from governments as it ought to be, you will definitely pay a lot of money because you will definitely pay the country taxes. You're gonna have to pay the country's good rates because you're getting minerals from them. So look at Libya and its time, and during Gaddafi's time, when Gaddafi nationalized oil in Libya, what did this do? It kicked out and discouraged Western companies from acquiring oil in Libya, meaning money that was gotten from selling Libyan oil was directly going to the people of Libya, and that gave the government more control of oil prices and not these international corporations.
Absolutely.
So I will definitely want to work around that and not have leaders who are going to be revolutionary like Gaddafi, and definitely will encourage leaders who are going to allow me to sneak around and get my minerals at a cheaper rate. So I will do everything that is necessary to get it at a cheaper rate and get more money. So it's both a means and the cause of the war. It's both money is both the means that enables these wars, and also the cause of why they make this. They want to make more money, so they do pour money into
It's so sad because it's our people who are not thinking about the redefining of Africa, not thinking about the people who are looking up to them, but thank God people are questioning things because they're thinking about their own selfish interests, and that's why they're actually collaborating with a lot of foreign nations and governments to pave their way cheaply and get minerals at a very, very cheap rate, I believe so. And then the people of these vicinities are not benefiting from it at all, and the ones who are toiling day and night to actually mine these minerals, it doesn't really add up. Like, when does it stop? Which leader will say no to this?
I was looking at the figures in Congo recently, and they have estimated that Congo has a deposit worth $28 trillion, and the amount that they made last year from minerals didn't even get to 100 million in US dollars. And these are people who have exported cobalt in in thousands of tons. You hear that they exported 220,000 tons of cobalt, of these minerals
Right.
in a single year, and the kind of money that the government says it's made from it is very, 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 very low.
Right.
Very low. So someone somewhere doesn't want to pay money, so they'd rather get these things
Absolutely.
cheaply.
Yeah, and they're actually getting more out of it than the people who are actually putting in the work. And for this to happen, you have to have people who are actually playing their role, obviously.
Yes.
I think this is a short video of the Congo will explain in just a bit, very, very few.
We don't let anything get under our skin. Even when bleeding, we're winning.
Always be like no.
And the longest humanitarian crisis. This video is brought to you by Nebula. Earlier this month, at the African Cup of Nations semi-final, the Congolese football team covered their mouths and put two fingers, like a gun, to their temples, in a protest against violence in their country, and the world's apparent lack of interest. A resurgence of violence in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo is the latest event in a long-running series of conflicts going back decades, which has created one of the most complex and longest humanitarian crises in the world. But with the eyes of the world largely focused on other conflicts like those in Gaza and Ukraine, the DRC receives relatively little attention, even as anti-Western protests break out in the country and rebel groups fight to gain more ground and control of valuable natural resources. So in this video, we're going to take a look at what's going on in the DRC, explaining the crisis and its key players, its significance, and more. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is extraordinarily rich in natural resources, but this has so far resulted in exploitation rather than wealth for regular Congolese people. In the late 19th and early 20th century, it was the extraction of the state's ivory and rubber that created immense wealth for Europeans, particularly the King of Belgium, while having a catastrophic impact on the native population. During the Second World War, uranium from the Belgian Congo was used by the United States to build the world's first atomic bombs. Post-Congolese independence in 1960, lucrative copper and other mining operations in the country's south contributed to Katanga Province's Belgian-backed secession attempt, which formed part of the wider Congo crisis. And today, the rich deposits of things like tin, gold and coltan in the eastern DRC play a key role in the conflicts that continue to afflict the region. The eastern DRC has been plagued by violence by various armed groups for nearly 3 decades. The region also sits right along the DRC's eastern border, next to Uganda, Rwanda and Burundi, with Rwanda in particular having played and still playing an outsized role in the DRC's history. Perhaps the most prominent armed non-state group in the eastern DRC is the March the 23rd movement, known as M23, which is predominantly made up of ethnic Tutsis. The group's name refers to the date in 2009 that the DRC government signed a peace agreement to end a previous Tutsi-led rebellion. Years later, in 2012, M23
We did cover the Tutsis and Hutsis conversation or conflict on Monday, so if you're following up, I hope you watch that.
Launched a new rebellion, accusing the DRC government of failing to uphold the previous agreement. The group captured swathes of territory and even took control of Goma, the capital of North Kivu, before the revolt was eventually put down by the Congolese army and UN forces, who drove M23 out of the country. But a decade later, in 2022, M23 re-emerged with a major new offensive, which has yet again further destabilised the volatile region, prompting military interventions and mediation efforts by the East African Community and Southern African Development Community. Nevertheless, brokered ceasefires haven't really held, and fighting has flared again since the beginning of this year. It appears that M23 is now aiming to capture the strategic town of...
As I know right now, the Congo war has been ongoing for years.
Yes.
But it's not as loud as it should be. And do we blame ourselves? What do you think about that?
Well,
Because we're not really loud about this, and our people are dying every day.
part of the reason they're able to succeed is that they're able to turn a blind eye, and anything that speaks against or speaks about the war in Congo, it will be definitely censored.
Absolutely. Yes.
They would rather shut.
They do that.
They would rather push the Gaza story.
Yeah, destruction.
And that is the only story, the only war they tell people. But the real wars in Africa, in the Middle East, happening are much more brutal and worse than the ones in Gaza. So it has gotten to a point that the only war that matters to people right now is the war in Gaza, while the one in Congo is claiming
And
more
Sudan.
lives. And Sudan too,
Yeah.
with the rapids, with the RSF
Absolutely.
doing ethnic cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the enabling tactic is censorship of our media.
That's happening a lot.
Yes.
That's happening every day if you're shining the light
Yes.
on conversations that are not tackled each and every day.
Yes.
Like real fact conversation.
Yes.
You'll see they'll censor it, or the views are like also censored.
Yes.
You know, so nobody has to actually watch what's really happening or hear to what's really happening.
Yes. So controlling the internet, as they have tried today to do today, our good friends in Tanzania, is one way.
That has happened.
Yes,
Did they shut down the internet?
they've just shut down the
Yes.
reports on Twitter
Yeah.
from very many news outlets that the Dracula from Tanzania has
Who's
cut
that?
Mrs. Vampire. We know her. She's Mrs. President in Tanzania, and
Oh
she's
my
decided to cut off internet. And it's funny, they call it democracy, and she's the only one in the ballot box.
Doesn't make sense.
And with such people in power, it would be very easy to come and cause chaos in the country. It would be very easy to come and disrupt peace in the nation. It's easy to come and sponsor janjaweed.
Right.
If you have leaders like Bashir in office, Samia Suluhu, William Ruto, Museveni, Kagame. These are people who are easily corrupted by the West. These are people who easily censor the West and what they're doing in their own countries too. Because they don't want people even in the Republic of Congo to actually speak out to fellow Congolese people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's happening.
So with the Draculas like those in power, it becomes a
Really?
difficult task and an
Yeah.
added task to get rid of or to stop these wars. If we had more leaders like Lumumba in power in Africa, would cry,
Ibrahim Traore.
will cry less about being oppressed, and will actually cry about crying, saying, "We are sorry. Where are we going to take our monies to now? Oh my God!"
It's too much.
Yes, that is the type of crying we ought to do here in Africa with leaders like Akina Lumumba, but just we have Draculas now, so I'll just wait for the sun to shine, because
As we speak about it, as we
Yes.
say no to injustice, because that's what's happening right now in
Vampires.
Tanzania. Like,
yes,
it's all amazing because some things you actually contemplate about them and you're like, oh, they'll never wake up.
and
It's an awakening, honey. Like, you get too comfortable until it's not comfortable.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel,
Yes.
and the sun will always rise in the morning, and we like that there is light being shed. And one
It's a
thing,
good thing. Like, we
one-
do have a number of people who are saying no to that.
Yes.
They know, no, that's not true. That's not what's really happening.
Yes, yes.
And they had the confidence
to speak
to
it out.
speak it out and stand on their feet and say no to injustice. It means we do have a generation that is questioning and they're ready to fight
Yes.
for justice.
We know vampires are allergic to sunlight. So
Absolutely.
let us-
Thank you. I
let
like
us-
that.
We keep on shining light to other people, and then the vampires are gonna get the sunlight affecting them, and they're gonna die.
Absolutely.
Bye bye, Dracula.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I'm gonna continue with this video, family, as we come back with our last tape. Time has actually moved so fast.
Sake, which is just 25 kilometres northwest of Goma, home to nearly 2 million people. This has led to fears that the group once again has its sights set on taking Goma. The key thing to know about the group is that while it's a non-state group, it is supported by the Rwandan government, a factor that has contributed to a great deal of tension between the DRC and Rwanda, despite denials by Rwanda. UN experts have cited solid evidence of Rwandan support for M23, not just logistical support, but also the supplying of arms and, at times, the sending of troops to fight alongside the rebels. It was even reported this month that M23 rebels had fired a suspected Rwandan army surface-to-air missile at a UN observation drone. A UN expert's report from last year stated that the Rwandan military's aim in the DRC was to reinforce M23 by providing troops and material and to use them to secure control over mine sites, gain political influence in the DRC, and decimate the FDLR. The FDLR, by the way, is an anti-Rwandan government rebel group active in the eastern DRC, with alleged support from the Congolese government and are considered M23's main rival. The group is dominated by ethnic Hutus, many of whom fled Rwanda for the DRC after carrying out the 1994 Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi population. The genocide preceded the First and Second Congo Wars, which engulfed the DRC between 1996 and 2003, resulting in the deaths of millions and millions of people and the involvement of troops from more than half a dozen African countries, with the reverberations still being felt to this day. Rwanda's support for M23 has helped spark anti-Western protests in the DRC, due to the generally warm relations that the Rwandan government has with the West. Protesters in the DRC's capital, Kinshasa, recently gathered outside the American, French and other Western embassies, plus the UN mission headquarters, where they burned tyres and flags. The failure of the more than 2-decade-long UN peacekeeping mission to stabilise the region has also contributed to the anger among the local population, and following a request from the Congolese government, the UN mission will leave the country by the end of 2024. Adding to the complex picture in the region are a whole load of other groups, more than 100 in fact, that operate in the eastern DRC. Some other prominent ones besides M23 and the FDLR are the Islamic State-linked Allied Democratic Forces, or ADF, and the predominantly ethnically Lendu Code group. Within this multifaceted conflict, the various armed groups have committed horrendous acts. Massacres, sexual violence, the use of child soldiers, and more. The conflict in the region has had dire humanitarian consequences. According to Save the Children, at least 150,000 people have been displaced since February the 2nd.
These are the consequences of wars, and as we should definitely be loud on speaking against atrocities each and every day, to also educate a lot of people who don't know what's really happening in Africa, or the wars in the Congo, and also the awakening that is happening, because, Africans have been kept ignorant. It's their gender. Like, it's by plan. We've been kept ignorant. How can I say it? By design. On purpose, that's the word, absolutely. So also it's our place to actually talk more about this, educate people what's really happening. And honey, free Congo, free Sudan, because it's time to redefine Africa as we redefine ourselves. That has been the conversation about how genocide benefits government and also companies during wars. I know what's your take on this, or your last conversation on this?
People are learning, and the more people learn about these atrocities, the more it's shed, the more light is shed, and the more light is shed, the more we are able to stand up.
I know.
And talk
Yes.
against this nonsense.
The more confident we are to actually talk more about this and say no to injustice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's keep on talking about it. Remind your brother, remind your friend.
Yes.
About
Absolutely. Yes.
something African. Remember, be proud of who you are as a black person.
Yes.
I remember, black don't crack.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's the conversation each and every day. Let's redefine the Ubuntu model, because That's how we lead, and it's time to reclaim our land unapologetically. My name is Iwitson Munguria. That has been my time, and my co-host, the one and only
Sankara. Yeah.
You're not giving us something today?
Well.
As we wind up,
I'm actually
he can
really-
sing, guys.
I've been in a real Christmas mood.
Okay.
And I don't know. What track do you want to hear?
Anything. As we're winding up.
Okay. So Mary, did you know
Okay. Mary.
your baby boy one day walk on water?
Okay.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy will come to deliver you? This child that you deliver will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know?
Did you know?
Yeah.
That's your baby boy.
Will one day walk on water.
I'm doing the rapping.
We should definitely do a collabo. Yes.
But one day walk on water. Come on. Family, have a good one. Take care. Thank you for joining us over here on Let's Pop with Iriton. Always family eating love and light. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world. Much love.
You're now listening to the best music.
Here is Angela Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way.
Daryl Mosquito, how you doing? I saw you over there. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube. Have a beautiful one. Take care.
Feel the hits. Feel the freshness.
You're now listening to the best music. 1 hour of the hottest tracks and coolest mashups of the moment.